Western Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Pikeville holds on to win its 6th state football title this afternoon, defeating Russellville in a catfight 30-27. WYMT's Camille Gear joins us now live from Kroger Field in Lexington to talk about what this title means not only to the Panthers team, but the community as well. Hey, Camille.
Yeah, Steve, you said it best. You know, this win means so much to the Panther community, but it means even more to the McNamee family. Head coach Chris McNamee won a state title in 2015 with son Andrew against Beechwood, and again in 2019 with son Isaac against Paintsville. But this win today is even more special, sharing another state title together in Isaac's last game as a Pikeville Panther.
It's just special, to be with him 4 years and be down here 3 years of the 4. Just really proud of him and his teammates, and I'll miss him out here in the maroon and white, that's for sure.
You know, you love when a mountain team wins a state championship. You love it a little bit more when it's a father-son duo, and you love it just a little bit more when it's their last game together on the sidelines. Live in Kroger Field, I'm Camille Gear, WYMT Mountain Sports.
Thank you, Camille. Notice she was able to leave the big fuzzy earmuffs at home, and that's because it's been a warm day around the Commonwealth, not just around the mountains, but up in the bluegrass as well. London Corbin Airport, even at this hour, sun is setting, and we're in the upper 60s still as we're watching the sun set right now at London Corbin Airport. Heading on down to downtown Whitesburg. The lights are on Main Street. We're down to 66 right now, but that is still much warmer than we should be for daytime highs this time of year. Most of us in those middle to upper 60s out there. A little bit cooler as you head over into the Big Sandy. 63 Prestonsburg, 62 into Pikeville. Either way, we're in good shape. Clean sweep on Pinpoint Doppler. Nothing in terms of any kind of weather worries, at least from the sky, outside of maybe some clouds working in overnight. We're in fantastic shape. Of course, that big game tonight, the Class 4A state championship, Boyle County and Johnson Central up at Kroger Field in Lexington. 52 at kick and 50 as they finish things off there in Lexington tonight. So big game on the way there. Another big game tomorrow. I'll have the details on what the weather looks like for that up in Lexington, and when we can see a few more showers here in the mountains coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. Pike County Emergency Management is adopting a new emergency alert system that aims to save lives and relay information quickly and efficiently. WYMT's Jordan Mullins has more from Pikeville, where we spoke to officials and first responders about what this will mean for communities throughout the county.
Pike County Emergency Management has put a new mass notification system in place called Smart 911, or RAVE for short. The goal is to instantly alert the entire county when an emergency takes place.
I never thought that when I got in this job, that seconds or minutes count. It absolutely does. I mean, seconds count, let alone 5, 15, 20-minute delay.
Along with notifying many people at once, the program can also notify small sections of the county.
If we had a hazardous material spill somewhere along 119 that we needed to tell people to shelter in place, we could isolate that on a map with a polygon and say notify this area, and it will make calls to that area only.
Shortening the information relay and making critical changes at dispatch centers.
We get a lot of calls to our system here in the city when it storms or when something goes on, asking the road conditions, asking what's going on. And sometimes they dial 911 and it's not an emergency situation.
The system also houses medical information if you choose to enter it upon signing up, so EMS will know what to expect before they arrive.
It's more than just a mass notification system. It's a tool that helps us help the people out there during the times they need it the most.
Saving lives and making jobs just a bit easier for first responders. In Pikeville, Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
Taggart says if you would like to sign up, you can visit smart911.com or call the Pike County Emergency Management Office and someone can assist you in signing up. The Omicron variant is spreading, with cases now identified in at least 5 states. Experts believe the number is likely much higher. So far, no confirmed cases in Kentucky. Several mild cases of the strain, first identified in South Africa, have popped up in multiple states like New York, where 5 cases at least have been detected, the most of anywhere so far in the U.S., leading many to one concerning conclusion.
We have to assume that means there's community spread. We have to assume that means we're going to see a lot more cases.
A recent study published in The Lancet found booster shots significantly strengthen the body's immune response against COVID-19, which could be critical against Omicron. Another study published on Thursday as a preprint, which is still awaiting peer review, found that Omicron is at least 2.4 times more likely to reinfect someone who's already had a COVID infection compared to the other variants that have been studied. Well, Pfizer says its COVID-19 vaccine could be quickly adapted to target the Omicron variant. A BioNTech chief executive says it takes about 100 days to develop and distribute a new vaccine. But it's still too early to know if a modified version is even needed. An adapted serum was not needed for the Delta variant. He says anyone who has received the current vaccine and booster should be protected enough against at least severe disease. Facebook has reportedly made hundreds of thousands of dollars selling ads that promote anti-vaccine messages and compare America's COVID-19 response to Nazi Germany. Despite Facebook's parent company Meta saying these ads went against their vaccine misinformation policies, they still ran on the platform. One researcher who tracks advertising on Facebook says the company does not manually review all of the ads it sells. That means some slip through its detection systems. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is changing COVID-19 testing requirements for international travelers coming to the U.S. Starting next week, the CDC requires a negative test 1 day before air travel into the country. Officials say this change is out of precaution due to the Omicron variant. People who show they recovered from COVID within the past 90 days are exempt. That requires a valid document of recovery, though. The order takes effect on Monday, December 6th. A controversial immigration policy put in place under President Trump is about to start up again under President Biden. But as CBS's Skylar Henry reports from Washington, the Biden administration is moving ahead with the program despite its objections to it.
The White House says President Biden remains opposed to the Trump-era Migrant Protection Protocols program, in which migrants were forced to remain in Mexico while their asylum cases were processed in U.S. courts.
Deeply flawed. That's why we stopped enrolling individuals in the program on day 1 and subsequently issued a memorandum in June terminating the program.
But the Supreme Court upheld a federal judge's ruling that the program was improperly shut down and ordered it to be started again. Something the Biden administration now says it's prepared to do.
Our view of the program has not changed. We're working to implement under the court order.
The court ruling said the program could only start back up again if Mexico agreed to participate. But immigrant rights advocates say the administration could have done more to avoid resuming it.
We think that the Biden administration could have pushed Mexico a little bit harder to find some ways to either stop this program from going back into effect or to find ways to make it significantly better than it was before.
The rules could resume as early as Monday, with some changes. The government will have to provide COVID-19 vaccines to migrants waiting for their hearing. It'll have to ensure shelters are safe and secure, make sure each case takes no longer than 6 months, and provide better access to legal counsel.
There is no way to make an inhumane policy humane. The reality is that migrants will continue to suffer from violence and danger when sent back to Mexico, and will continue to be unable to obtain the lawyers that they need to be able to have a fair shot at winning their case for asylum.
During the first iteration of Remain in Mexico, 1% of migrants were granted asylum. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The Biden administration plans to spend $14 million on new tents at border crossings in Texas for migrants to attend court hearings virtually. Well, think you can show up to a Zoom meeting late and no one's the wiser? Think again. Your next Zoom meeting might have a new feature called attendance status to make it easier for the meeting host to see who has and has not joined the meeting. For those folks who sign on late, their names go under a new Not Joined section right in the participants panel for everyone to see. Along with your name in that Not Joined section is your calendar response. The tool is still a work in progress, but procrastinators beware. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, actor Alec Baldwin says he's not to blame for the death of a cinematographer. What he says led up to the shooting.
And the roller coaster continues right on into the weekend and into next week. I'll have the latest from Future View straight ahead.